My biggest win was when I sold one of those small websites for 20,000. That was the first time I felt, oh wow, now I'm making real money, right?
That's crazy.
The next website I sold was for
Hi everyone, in today's episode, I'm going to walk around with Mahmoud at this beautiful resort in Phantom to talk about how he got his agency started. 7 years ago, Mahmoud was about to become homeless, but he turned his faith around with digital marketing, building an online business for himself. Today, he is a six-figure agency owner.
I had to figure out a way to make money online within 6 months. I was just working every day, all day, because otherwise I would just lose everything.
Now he is getting into a new venture to start an automation business. We got a lot of things to go through and how you can start your online business and digital marketing journey, or even to step up your career gaming marketing. So let's get started. Tell me about the time you almost went homeless.
Oh, wow. So that was 6 years ago. I was in Italy. I was there to study computer engineering with a scholarship, but I was very obsessed with SEO that I just kept doing SEO and didn't study really. So I lost my scholarship. At some point, I ran out of money and I had problems with my residence permit as well. So I had to figure out a way to make money online within 6 months. So I had this time frame, and this is when I got started with niche websites and went all in on that.
How did you get out of this situation?
I was just working every day, all day, because otherwise I would just lose everything and return back to my home country and can't show up for anything that I have done. So I kept working every day. And within 6 months, I had a couple of websites. Each one was making $300, if I remember correctly, with Amazon affiliate. This is how I got out the situation. I rented a better room, not a home, like shared room with others. And yeah, then things started to work out slowly.
Wow, $300 a website. How many websites did you have?
I had just a couple of websites. So I was making roughly 500 euros, which was enough to get a room and eat, yeah.
Wow, but now you had a whole pirate ship over here.
Yeah.
What was your biggest win?
My biggest win was when I sold one of those small websites for 20,000.
$20,000?
Yeah, that was the first time I felt, oh wow, now I'm making real money, right?
That's crazy. And how did you scale from there?
So I took the money, I reinvested, I built more websites and just kept selling. So the next website I sold was for $100,000. That was the first time I saw 6 figures in my bank account.
Wow,
Yeah.
That's amazing.
That was in 2021. I think so.
So how did you start ContentWish?
As I was selling niche sites, new site owners would tell me like, hey, we want to keep pushing content on the website. Can we get content from your team? And I was like, okay, but my team is busy with my own projects. I would sell you content. So that's how I started making money from selling content. And I got to know the productized services game, the agency, all that stuff.
And how much do you charge a client for content?
Well, now it depends on what type of content, but I would say roughly from $40 a post to $80, $90. Depending what type of service.
Awesome. Do you think AI content is like getting in the way of your business?
That used to be the case, but now we have an AI assisted content service. So we are integrating AI in our processes and offering services with AI. So now it's not getting in our way.
What was your biggest problem scaling your agency?
Definitely hiring and managing people. So with content, especially back then, there was no AI. So to scale content, we needed to hire more and more writers and editors. At some point, we had over 50 contractors working with us. So the bottleneck was hiring people, managing them. That was definitely the problem we had.
That's insane. Was ContentWish something that you wanted to start from the beginning, or is it by chance?
Totally by chance. I was really into just SEO and ranking websites, selling content. I wasn't copyrighted. I wasn't a writer in the first place. So it was totally by chance, just because people started asking me about, hey, we want content from your team. And this is how I just started it.
How do you start a service that you don't have experience in?
Well, so I had experience in content operations because I was already managing a content team for my own websites. So I had some experience, but my problem is how to judge a good piece of content because I wasn't copywriter, right? So I took my best writer and I made them an editor, and they were just doing all the quality checks in the beginning.
Were you able to scale quality checking?
There are 2 ways to do it, internally and externally. So every quarter, we used to hire a consultant that can look on some of the output that we have, and they can just tell us, give us a solid feedback and audit for the stuff that we are doing. And this helped us a ton because it's easy to think that, yeah, we are the best because, we are judging our own work. But we used to get, apart from also client feedback. So client feedback is very important, but we are always looking for consultants who can help us with this.
In life, there are a lot of opportunities around us, and ContentWish was one of the opportunities, right? But if you weren't catching on to that opportunity, you wouldn't be here today.
Exactly.
So how do you identify that opportunity, and how do you help other people identify that opportunity in their life?
I think you have to find how to bring value to others. So in my case, the value was my team used to produce good content at a very fair price. And that was the value that my clients really liked. And when I noticed this, so I said, okay, this is an opportunity that we can scale and get more clients, etc. So looking at how you can bring value to others in exchange for money. And I think that the opportunity is always there.
What if somebody wants to find a value that they enjoy doing? Like in your case, you were the writer, you were the quality check person, but you were still in that business, you know?
Yeah, I think in my case, I didn't probably have lots of choices. So it's just like, okay, this is how I can make money. So it's fine. It's definitely, if you are passionate about a topic or about something, you can bring a lot more value because then you will study more, you will understand your market more, and you will be way more energetic when you're doing your work. So now with my recent business, which is AI automation business, I'm so excited about it. I'm so passionate, and I can definitely feel that my energy levels are one another.
Your advice for people is to look for things they can bring value to them.
So value and energy. You have to feel your energy, and it will tell you in which route you should go. If you do something that you don't like, it will be very, very, very tough to get ahead because your competitors will be very passionate about their product and they will be more excited talking about it, while you will just be there trying to push yourself to get a small task done.
So what's your number one advice for aspiring CMOs to level up their career?
Get some coaching for hiring and managing people. I think it's an essential skill if you want to get to that level, because at that point, your technical skills, yes, they matter, but not as much. You will be looking for the best talent for that role. And to keep best talent, you need to have necessary managerial skills. And in my case, I spent probably 2-3 years just doing some basic trial and error stuff because I just had no idea for how to deal with people. I could have saved this in maybe a couple of months with just some really good coaching.
What are your tips for beginners to get started with the automation?
Always start with a problem. Don't look for stuff to automate in general. Automations should solve a problem that you are currently having. Usually this could be a capacity problem, so you want to do more, or it's time and resources problem, so you want to do the same thing but with less resources. So for example, if you run an agency and you're spending lots of resources for lead generation, then maybe you can automate 80% of that process by using workflow automation tools like N8N and some AI integration with ChatGPT, Cloud, etc.
Can you give me some tips how to get started with automation?
So look at your processes and pick the most tedious process and start with this. Number 2, have clear KPIs. This will help you measure how successful is your automation and the output you are getting from the automated workflow by comparing to how you used to do that same thing manually. That's it. Start with a problem, have KPIs, build the automation, see the output and compare it to your original output and your KPIs and see where it stands. Usually, you won't get the same result by automations, but at least you'll get maybe to 70-80%, and then you can just validate and revise the output instead of doing everything from scratch, obviously.
What tools do you recommend to get started?
Number 1, LLMs, obviously. So ChatGPT, Cloud. Number 2, workflow automation tools like N8N. This is what I recommend as of now, March 2025. Number 3, AI workflow tools like LangChain, and also have a database like Supabase to just save all the information you are building with automation.
Where can people find you if they want to contact you?
Thank you for having me. I'm active on LinkedIn, Facebook. You can find me there.
Thank you guys for watching, and make sure you subscribe to the Aspiring CMO.
Subscribe if you want to learn more about marketing. Take care.